Hey guys, Bike here, and I'm back again with another Last Epoch video. This one we're doing a little bit different. We already have gameplay playing right now. I just wanted to showcase what the build could do in its current state. We're currently level 77. This is level 90 Monoliths, so we're not in Empowered yet. I just wanted to show you the progress I made after day one. So as you guys know, I cycle started with Spin2Cleave Void Knight. It's a build I released near the end of Cycle 1, and I wanted to try it in Cycle 1.1 because I knew I could get it going from the start, so I'd have to do minimal respecking. And it was a slow start for sure. It worked, but there wasn't a lot of mobility involved. Pretty much, I was able to use Shield Charge and Unspec Shield Charge early, but the moment I unlocked Void Cleave, Shield Charge went bye-bye, and I didn't want to spec into it and respec later, so I was then hoofing it on foot, using an unspec lunge until all my abilities came online, and then the only thing I had going for me was movement speed and the new evade mechanic, which I thought was pretty decent. So, as you guys can see here in this gameplay, we are just tearing through stuff. It took a little bit. There was some frustration there. I'm glad I played softcore because I would have died a lot. But once everything started jiving and started flowing, I feel like we got a pretty good in-game viable build that I can just continue to refine and work around without having to do some major respecking. So, I mean, I guess you can call it the lazy build. Definitely wasn't competing in the race in this build for sure. So let's jump into the game and take a look at what we got on. All right, welcome back. Here we are in game. So we're going to go over the gear, the idols, blessings, I guess. This is going to be a quick flyover. If you guys are interested in this build, I did create an in-game version of it. Link will be in the description down below. This is just to showcase what I've gotten after playing for a day. I played for roughly 11 hours yesterday, something like that. Yeah, it was like 11 or 12 hours yesterday. Like I said, it was a little bit slower than like when I cycle started with Paladin for Cycle 1. But with that one, the build I was using, once I got to Empowered Monoliths, I had to completely respec, which I guess is not necessarily a bad thing. With this one, I feel confident we can take on Empowered Monoliths, but I can create another video if you guys are curious to see how I'm doing in Empowered Monoliths with this. So let's go over this. I got lucky with this one. Strength, Vengeance. We don't use Vengeance, but it gives us extra melee damage. Honestly, right now, everything I got on is it's just whatever I could slap in there to make sure my resistances were capped. We're going to have to start refining it. Like, obviously, we're not doing poison damage, but we can use the other three affixes. I killed Oribus in regular monos, and he dropped a Siphon of Anguish, so I threw that on there. We got Spider Silk Belt, one of my favorite base types in the entire game. Mana regen is actually very decent for the way, for the new Warpath. Like, you're able to get a lot of usefulness out of it. As you can see, my mana is not going down at all. At all. Even when I do something like that, it regenerates. Right? It doesn't come back quick, but it comes back. And just to show you what I got right here, we only put 3 points in Unchained. Like, I don't think there's ever going to be, like, if you can stack mana regen, I don't think there's ever going to be a world where you take Reckless Spin, which is the minus 30 to your elemental resistances. So if you can get good mana regen on here, it could work. I can understand not wanting to do this later on, but, I mean, this would be the small change for Cycle 1.1. Melee attack speed. This one, I tried to get melee crit on here, but the stats were too good, and I had one Glyph of Despair. I could not get that critical strike chance to seal, so I just leveled it up. But otherwise, I mean, huge melee critical strike multiplier, huge percentage melee damage, crit's fine. The chance to shred armor was very nice, and then We were able to get some Void Pin. I was able to get this nice 12% Void Pin and some health on there. Again, not the best base, but I take what I can get. This Titan Heart I found. And then I found one of the new Nemesis, and he had an egg. So I put this 0 LP Titan Heart into it. And after empowering him, it came back with a legendary affect, well, so to speak. It came back as a legendary item with necrotic resistance, which at this point in the game, I'll take whatever I can get. Boots, this is probably the signs that, like, I wouldn't use this base, but this is close to what an in-game pair of boots would look like. You know, T6, T7 movement speed, vitality, health. Vitality is going to be your friend for Void Knight because they changed the way his little passive here works. You gain 1% more. That's a multiplicative modifier. Melee void damage per 3 vitality. So if you stack a lot of vitality and you're using something like Void Cleave that scales with vitality, you're going to get a lot of functionality out of it. So let's go over the idols real quick. Literally whatever I could find that kind of made sense. You know, increase the warpath, increase the warpath area, increase the Void Cleave area. Melee void damage, resistances wherever I could slap it. The build definitely needs to be refined. This is not in game yet. But I'm confident we can do 100 corruption. Blessings, I mean, obviously we're still trying to find it. This one, eventually, if we ever stop using Titan Heart, this can come into play. But as you guys may know, Titan Heart, you don't regenerate health, so that's kind of a dead blessing till we can change it. We got we're lucky enough to get the armor blessings because I've only done each monolith only once. We got the max XP, strength of mind, 6% increase XP, so that's been nice. Amulet drop rate, health, and all res. We currently do not have any critical strike avoidance. Well, we have some. And we're only at 29 endurance. So the build's definitely going to need to be going through a huge refinement period. Go over the skills. So Warpath. Warpath is pretty much set up similar to the way I had it set up in the build guide. But in that one, I had a +4 to Warpath. So we can max out that node. I still only took 3 in Unchained. You're not going to need to take 1 in Reckless Spin if you have... you're not going to need to take 1 in Reckless Spin if you have mana regeneration. I took 3 in Quicksilver just for extra movement speed, extra damage, because we're using a 2-handed sword. Void Cleave, I do not have it set up as a traversal skill because I just don't have the points for it right now. I'm prioritizing damage. I'm going to have to respec out of this. I tried doing... Erasing Strike, and the mana with the mana cost was just too high. I can't regenerate it enough with Warpath going off a whole lot. So we're gonna have to take that out, and I'll probably put it like right here or here between these two nodes. Volatile Reversal, very vanilla setup. So in the build guide, I'm using sigils. I may eventually do that, but I've been liking Devouring Orb, so you can have 2 different ways of doing it. You can do what I'm doing right now, which is I slap it down, I spin, I use Anomaly if I need it, that sort of thing. And then that's just doing constant damage. And then out of it, we get the 10% more void damage and the 10% mana regen, you know, keyword mana regen. That helps a lot. If we ever get to 90 vitality, this gets doubled, so this can become a much better option than sigils later on. Plus, I just like Devouring Orb way more. Hollow, this is your auto bomber setup. You go the Hollow Orb, Abyssal Emission, Chaotic Torrent, that sort of thing. So instead of having it follow, I've been liking just doing this, spinning, cleave, drop another one. Cleave, drop another one, and then you end up having a couple of these, and they're all shooting, they're all proccing. It's a lot of fun, but if you don't want to have to think about it, you can drop this side of the tree right here, and you can go down here. You pick up Dark Moon, pick up Abyssal Rush for 6% extra attack speed, Cosmic Impact, and extinction. This will allow it to spin around you. It'll still proc the orbs, but if you summon another one, it just replaces the one that's already spinning around you. This way, you can actually have multiple orbs, plus they can possibly split and divide, and you can end up having like 5 or 6 of these. It's pretty nice. And then anomaly, just your standard time bubble setup without this node over here. We picked up all the crit we could, temporal mastery, make it last longer, cooldown recovery, 20% attack speed. Goes really well with the spinnies, with the spinaroonie. Let's go over the skills real quick. So I didn't immediately go into Blade Master. I originally only put 20 points here. I've been liking the attack speeds, especially since we don't have crit. The main source of our damage has just been flat damage, and every once in a while we'll get a crit. And so trying to shred an enemy down as fast as possible with chance to shred armor on hit has been quite nice. So I've been trying to get many sources of attack speed to help with that. So I originally had 20 points here. I took care of what I wanted in this tree. Eventually we'll come back and pick up Dread and possibly Avatar of Regret. We'll see if that's worth it, and then we could pick up like some health nodes, maybe go back into Paladin, pick up some health, that sort of thing. But I'm gonna put my next 5 points in Blade Master. This will be an extra 30% attack speed, and then probably focus on getting points into Dread or whatever suits my fancy. That's it. That's how the build is going. So anyway, if you guys are curious, like I said, full build guide in the link down below. Just want to give you an update about how it's working in 1.1. Anyway, you guys take care. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a good one. Cheers.